Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Listen, I love the Super Bowl, you love the Super Bowl, we all love the Super Bowl. But there's one thing about the Super Bowl that always seems to be a gamble: the halftime show. This year, it was like the whole thing was picked by that cousin of yours who organizes the Family Fantasy Football League and insists on drafting kickers in the third round. I mean, what happened? Today we're diving into the top 10 reasons why this year's halftime show was the worst we've ever seen. From the awkward moments that made you want to hide under your nachos, to the technical difficulties that made you think someone tripped over the power cord, we're breaking down all the cringe-worthy details. So grab your foam finger, settle in, and get ready to relive the horror. Make sure to stick around till the end for some shocking comparisons. I'm talking shock and awe, people, but not the good kind. Okay, first up, let's talk about the energy, or lack thereof. I mean, these performers look like they just finished a 10-hour shift at the guacamole factory. Where was the passion, the fire, the feeling that they actually wanted to be there? It was like watching a bunch of teenagers being forced to clean their rooms. Look, I get it, performing at the Super Bowl is a big deal. It's a huge stage, millions of people are watching, the pressure is on. But come on, people, this is show business, not showman, whatever. You're telling me that with all the lights, the dancers, the pyrotechnics, nobody could muster up even a little bit of enthusiasm? I've seen more excitement at a dog food commercial shoot. Even the backup dancers, who usually bring an infectious energy, looked like they'd rather be home watching paint dry. It was like someone replaced their Red Bull with chamomile tea backstage. And don't even get me started on the lead performer. They looked like they were about to fall asleep on stage. The energy was flatter than a deflated football. And that's saying something. Alright, let's move on to the song selection because, honestly, this is where things really went off the rails. I mean, who put this playlist together? Was it a random Spotify algorithm that someone found at the bottom of a bargain bin? Look, I'm all for trying new things, but there's a time and a place for musical experimentation, and the Super Bowl halftime show ain't it. This is the time to bring out the hits, the songs that everyone knows and loves, the tunes that will make the entire stadium erupt in a synchronized dance party. Instead we got whatever that was. It's like they picked the most obscure songs from each artist's catalog and mashed them together with all the grace of a toddler playing with mashed potatoes. The only people singing along were the ones who accidentally sat on their remote controls. Half the time I didn't even recognize the songs, and the other half, I wished I didn't. It was like listening to the soundtrack of a bad 80s movie on repeat. Someone in the production meeting really dropped the ball on this one. Crickets, people. They couldn't even get the pre-recorded stadium noise right. And of course, because this halftime show was determined to be the biggest fumble since that one time Giselle told Tom Brady to go for it on 4th down, we also had to deal with technical difficulties. I mean, seriously, this is the Super Bowl, not your nephew's Zoom school play. You'd think that with all the money and resources at their disposal, they could at least manage to keep the microphones working properly. There were moments when the music cut out completely, leaving the performers awkwardly standing there like they were waiting for a bus that was never going to come. There were times when the microphones malfunctioned, producing that ear-splitting screeching sound that makes you want to shove your entire head into a bowl of guacamole. At one point, I swear I saw a stagehand run out with a roll of duct tape and a prayer. It's like someone forgot to pay the Wi-Fi bill, and the whole production was running on dial-up internet. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, only instead of a train it was the entire production crew, and instead of a wreck it was a cacophony of technological mishaps. Okay, let's talk stage design because wow, just wow. I've seen more creative set pieces in my kids' kindergarten class play about the Four Seasons. It was like they took all the budget they wasted on the microphones that didn't work and spent it on a bunch of leftover Christmas decorations. I mean, what was with the giant inflatable hamster wheel, and the confetti cannons that looked like they were borrowed from a discount party supply store? It was like a fever dream you'd have after eating too much chili cheese dip. And don't even get me started on the lighting. It was like they hired a bunch of fireflies with flashlights to handle the illumination. One minute it was too bright, the next minute you couldn't see a thing. The whole thing looked like it was designed by a committee of people who had never seen a stage before, let alone a Super Bowl halftime show. Now, you know it's bad when even the internet, a place where people routinely argue about the best way to microwave a burrito, can agree that something is a complete disaster. And let me tell you, the internet did not hold back on this one. Twitter was ablaze with memes, jokes, and scathing commentary about the halftime show. It was like a digital roast, and everyone had a front row seat. People were comparing the performance to everything from a middle school talent show to a hostage video. Someone even said it was like watching a car fire try to parallel park. The memes were ruthless, the jokes were savage, and the overall consensus was clear: this halftime show was a flop of epic proportions. When even the most die-hard football fans are tweeting about how bad the halftime show is, you know you've got a problem. And this is where it gets really painful, folks. Because to truly understand the depths of this year's halftime show disaster, we need to take a trip down memory lane. Remember when Prince turned the Super Bowl into a purple rain of musical genius? Or when Beyoncé proved she could literally summon lightning with her dance moves? Those were halftime shows, people. Shows that made you want to get up and dance. Shows that gave you chills. Shows that you'd actually want to watch again without feeling a deep sense of existential dread. Even the halftime shows that weren't necessarily great were at least entertaining. They had a sense of fun, a bit of spectacle, a reason for being. This year's show had all the excitement of a wet paper bag. It's like comparing a 5-star Michelin restaurant to a gas station hot dog. Sure, they're both technically food, but one is an experience, a culinary journey, while the other is just sad. Alright, let's talk about the awkward moments, because oh boy, were there plenty. From the wardrobe malfunctions that would make even Janet Jackson blush to the dance moves that looked like they were choreographed by a malfunctioning Roomba, this halftime show was a masterclass in cringe. There was that one moment when the lead singer tried to interact with the audience, and you could practically hear the crickets chirping through the television screen. It was like watching a stand-up comedian bomb on amateur night. And who could forget the part where the backup dancers collided with each other in a tangled mess of limbs and sequins? It was like a scene straight out of a low-budget horror film. The whole thing was so awkward, so uncomfortable, so downright painful to watch, that I'm pretty sure I aged a decade in the span of 15 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have a parade of A-list celebrities to make a good halftime show, but it certainly doesn't hurt. In the past, we've had everyone from Michael Jackson to Lady Gaga gracing the Super Bowl stage, bringing their star power and charisma to the event. This year it felt like they went through the Hollywood Walk of Fame with a blindfold and a dartboard to pick the performers. And look, I'm all for giving up-and-coming artists a chance to shine, but this is the Super Bowl, people. It's not the time for open mic night at the local karaoke bar. The lack of star power was evident from the moment the performers took the stage. It was like watching a rerun of a sitcom you've already seen 100 times. Let's be honest, the choreography looked like something I tried to learn off TikTok after a few too many margaritas. It was clunky, awkward, and at times downright dangerous. I'm pretty sure I saw a few vertebrae get dislocated during that synchronized jump rope routine, and the synchronization, or lack thereof. It was like watching a flock of pigeons trying to fly in formation during a hurricane. I've seen more coordinated dance moves at a wedding reception after the open bar has been flowing for a few hours. Well, there you have it, folks. The Super Bowl 59 halftime show, a national disappointment that will go down in history as one of the worst ever. From the lackluster energy to the questionable song choices and the technical difficulties that plagued the entire performance, this halftime show was a masterclass in how not to entertain a crowd. It's a shame, really. The Super Bowl halftime show is supposed to be a celebration of music, entertainment, and the spirit of the game. Instead, it felt like a missed opportunity, a chance to create something truly memorable that was squandered on bad decisions and even worse execution. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know it was tough reliving that train wreck of a halftime show, but hey, misery loves company, right? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the halftime show, and if you agree with our list. Did we miss any cringeworthy moments? What would you have done differently? Let's commiserate together in the comments section below. See you in the next video.